God morgon, or good morning. I forgot myself for a while. So Thursday, lots of driving and visiting different places all over the place. So the first thing I did in the morning when I got up was to drive away. Yeah, before I got away with the car, I had parked it at an parking lot close to the apartment, no, close to the hotel. But when I tried to take it out of there, I misinterpreted the display. The display said put in service card because I pressed the wrong button. But before I realized, or rather got told this, I tried to pay. It just spit out my money, and I I didn't understand because the instruction said first do this, then do this, but it was a different approach, I guess. So um, so I had to ask some girls that were close there after having partied all night, it seemed like, and they were confused as well. But then I don't remember at which stage they called the company that had them and everything. But then when I explained I just wanted to pay and get away, because I thought that was obvious, they was like, that because they thought I wanted a service card, and they they thought I had to bring it or get it from the rental car company and stuff like that, and I thought I needed a card to pay because I was trying to put in money, and they misinterpreted that as I was trying to buy a service card. But yeah, uh, some hectic conversations in the morning in Japanese, and then I got away and drove to an outdoors area, not a museum, a free place where they have salt caves. I wanted to go into the caves, and when I arrived, there was other Japanese people arriving as well. At the same time, I was the first there, and they were checking also the possibility of going into the cave. And it said something like due to strong winds, something. Most likely, it said due to strong winds, we cannot go into the cave or something like that, because later, when I was filming the movie yesterday, as you might know, there was a boat trying to go in, but it just went to the opening of the caves. There are like 5 of them, and then it just backed out because it couldn't control itself. It was too windy, and it was windy as fuck. I mean, I almost lost my phone there once, and I was holding it pretty firmly. But yeah, it was a nice open area with these rocks that I think was mostly based on salt, because of the structure of almost every natural rock there was kind of hexagonal and stuff, and it was very uneven, so it wasn't the best place for me to walk on either. But I walked, and I tried to walk everywhere and look at everything. There was some places I couldn't walk because they had put up restrictions due to the weather, but it was very warm. I got exhausted. I walked quite a lot, and my steps are increasing, and the pain is decreasing, and the flexibility is also increasing. So everything is going forward in that area. I couldn't go out on the places where it was only these rocks, these hexagonal rocks. Totally impossible. I mean, I could have tried, but it was very uneven, very hard to balance. And as I learned the first day I went out, this leg is not good with balancing. As soon as it needs to do some adjustments, I seem to be tripping or falling almost instantaneously. So the strength and the balance need to be trained. I have a balance board back home in Sweden, and knew this day or this period would come when the strength was enough. But I also still need more calf strength because it is still my right calf that is working, and I would probably be very, it will be hard to catch up with the right calf for the left one after, since I'm walking so much now, because it's very small. It it's very, I can barely feel it when I try to tense it up, but the right one is extremely well defined, and it feels like it's been working out a lot since I came to Japan. So but I am trying to walk as much as possible. So yeah, I went to that place. I looked at a lot of different caves from a distance, went the different paths. It was very warm and extremely windy, but that was just fine because I was sweating and it was very exhausting. And then after a few hours, when I was done, I went into the car and then decided to go to Nagasaki, because I also had decided I want to visit all the prefectures on Kyushu. And first I had some plans and some things I wanted to do in Nagasaki, but the main thing, the the island that I talked about in the previous video about abandoned island that's now become a tourist attraction that I probably will never see because there are too many people going there. It might be okay though. I think that it just won't be as it was when it was basically undiscovered. Um, but and the reason I say this is because I went to some touristy things in Nagasaki, and I've seen some other touristy things, and there are tourists, but they are at a manageable level. And it is like Tokyo in before Fukushima. I mean, it's basically people, but it's not an annoying amount. And today, for instance, I'm at another outdoors museum. I like practical museums, or because yesterday wasn't a museum. I mean, it was just an area that had cool things. But I like things. I dislike museums where you just look at things and can't be really a part of it. They are annoying in the way that it's mostly just go read, and what you're looking at, like paintings and sculptures, it's very boring. It's, I can do anything with it. So I like practical museums and museums where you are more involved in what you're looking at. So for instance, one of my favorite museums in and around Kanto is a museum where you go out and look at buildings that are old buildings from different eras that have been preserved and brought to a big place. So you can kind of follow the standard architecture, how the house looks, and also see what and how the house were used before in a very outdoorsy place. And also there are like the first koban and the different and in that koban it are some information about how the kobans have evolved over the years and stuff like that. And the kobans are police boxes, if someone not interested in Japan is watching this. So they are everywhere. if you know what you're looking for. And the first ones were very, very much smaller than the standard Kobani today. They are still small, but they were smaller, just meant for one person, kind of. Anyhow, this museum I will tell you more about tomorrow when I've gone in. I am doing the precaution today to actually record while I'm outside, because inside I will probably get interrupted all the time and eating my breakfast. I once again just went away from town without eating, just to avoid the rush hour. But anyway, I drove to Nagasaki because my reasons to go there had disappeared, but I just have now the want to be and do something in every prefecture this trip. And in Nagasaki, I just went to the memorial parks, talked with some people, and then I was trying to find people to do the project with in Nagasaki. The problem in Nagasaki was that the only people I actually got to talk to in the way that it might have been possible were obvious students, and they looked very, very young. So before I could even come to that point, I just excused myself, because I think most of them were junior high schoolers, maybe high schoolers. I don't know. It's hard to tell with kid faces these days, but they were definitely too young, and I didn't want to be in a weird situation where I didn't really know the age of them in a proper way. I didn't want to ask their age, because that would also make it a bit awkward. So I've decided yesterday that I will give up trying in Fukuoka, because I have too much to do. And if I want to see and utilize the car, every day will be busy. And like when I tried in Nagasaki, I had just a limited amount of time to do it. Otherwise, I would be too late going back to the apartment, or no, to the hotel. So, yeah, doing this on Kyushu will not happen, because I'm here to look at things and experience things as well. The day is obviously limited, and even though I'm active from 7 in the morning until 10 in the evening, I still have barely enough time, and I'm super exhausted, which I find good, because it's good experiences all around. But yeah, no people with. I will not try that. So Tokyo is the only place. So the contrast, unfortunately, will not happen. Anyhow, so Nagasaki, nothing special. I think that Nagasaki looks like an old rundown version of well, any other Japanese town. It was, the feel was, it had a lot less budget than all the other large cities I've been to. It felt old, it felt obsolete in some regard, and the city had a boring feel to it. I don't know what it is with these atomic cities, but like, I mean, the first time I went to Hiroshima with Drak, I also got this feeling, but Hiroshima was actually nicer, in aesthetically nicer, even though the climate was horrible and stuff. Yeah, so all in all, Nagasaki seemed uninteresting, but it also was a very strange city. They had trams, which I did not expect. But all cities in Japan, especially the large ones that aren't as organized as Tokyo, I feel you need to really get to know, or have people that know the place, to actually experience it. Exactly the same feeling as in Seoul, where you couldn't really find anything interesting by just walking around. In Tokyo, you just walk around and you find interesting things all the time. In this case, if you don't have a goal, you will just get to random places that's not even interesting. And so I had a few places I wanted to visit in Nagasaki, so I did. But and the final thing, I was like, no, it's too late. I had like 1 hour, half an hour, and if I had checked out yesterday, which I, in hindsight, realized I should have done when I was there. I most likely would have stayed in Nagasaki and tried to enjoy the nightlife a bit, and then most likely succeeding with my project as well. But I am driving every day, so drinking too much is not really feasible, and also it would have been nice just to stay there, but it's not really a go-to. I mean, I still need to go pretty far to go to the other places I want to, and it's closer to go from where I had the hotel anyway. So I just went back and I paid the toll roads. On the way down, I took non-toll roads, which I found, especially now, because I took a non-toll road today as well. Not going on toll roads are much preferable and than toll roads. Sure, it took me a bit less than one, no, more than 1 hour less. I saved to use the toll road going back to Nagasaki than I would if I would have taken the non-toll roads. But the thing was, I was tired and didn't want to come back too late, so I wanted the toll roads. But the non-toll roads are interesting. You find, well, it's pleasing what you see. The environment is interesting, and you also find some interesting thing here and there. Like I drove through a town that had very old rustic buildings made out of brick, and one other place I saw the largest Tori temple gate thingy. They are like these red pillars that always are into the entrance to any shrine and stuff. Those I saw the largest one I've ever seen, and this includes the one that's out in the water that was just in the middle of a small town, and it was new. It was very new. So it wasn't like the old one out in the water or the stone ones in Harajuku or something like that. So, but it still was very eye-catching having such a large structure in the middle of nowhere. And there are very interesting signs, and the views are amazing. I'm still a bit. It's too bad I couldn't have a camera in the car that can record just the road while I'm driving, because it would be nice sometimes to show and to remember some of these places that I already forgotten. Because I'm certain I have forgotten something. Like there were so many small things that were interesting. So yeah. So going back on the toll road, sure it's quick, sure it's fast, and it feels a little bit like autobahn. There are speed limit, but no one is driving that. Everyone is driving Swedish speeds, which means Swedish road speeds. In Japan, the road speeds are very low, and if I looked at the time I was driving yesterday and the length I got, it's ridiculous. But also in the cities, I think the speed limit is too high, and on the roads, I think it's too low. because it's seldom, very seldom over 60, and when it's over 60 it's on usually the toll roads, and on those express highways they still ignore it and go on 120, except those that doesn't, and then congest traffic kind of. But yeah, and for instance, going here today, it was the same kind of thing. I mean, it was, if this would have been in Luleå, it took more time to drive here than it takes to go from Luleå to Boden, and it's almost twice the distance. So the roads are kind of, I don't know what to say. It's the speed is low. So anyhow, I'm gonna quit there because there was nothing else going on. I did some studying and then went to bed, preparing for an early day today, and also deciding that in the morning I were to prolong the car one day, because Sunday I realized I would not be able to stay at any place, just go, and I didn't want that. So I did this morning and before I went here. So have a good day, everyone.